All right, bear with me here, but I think I have Matt Rife completely figured out. So, for context, Matt Rife will tell you that before he got the plastic surgery, which he denies, he calls it puberty, late puberty. He has said many times in his stand up specials that before he got plastic surgery, before his looks changed, nobody paid attention to him. And he's 29 years old right now. And I saw another special where he said that he was about to give up before he started experiencing success.
I'm good looking. I don't like it any more than you guys do, okay? This is not good for...
Now, Matt plays this shit off in his stand up specials, but I don't really think that he's joking. Here's what I think Matt Rife is. I think Matt Rife is a man that, for his entire life, has only ever really wanted to be two things: taken seriously as a comic. And Matt Rife will admit that he tried this for 25 years and no one really took him seriously until he got this plastic surgery, right? So now Matt Rife gets this plastic surgery and everyone starts paying attention to him, but he realizes that no one is paying attention to him because he's funny. He really clearly picks up on the fact that people like him because he's hot, not because he's funny.
Up until like April of this year, it was like 90% women coming to these shows, which weren't always for the right reasons. And they got there and maybe they didn't like my comedy and they go, well, maybe I wasn't a fan for the right reason, which is fine.
Okay, so he sees it, right? Matt Rife wants to be taken seriously as a comedian. He sees when people are only taking him seriously because he's hot. Matt Rife just said in an interview that like a few years ago he was making between like 40 and 50K a year. This was the BFF's interview, by the way. He said he was making about 40 to 50K a year, and last year I think he made around $20 million. Got a ton of press, all because he got hot, because he paid for it. Then we see shit like this. For Matt Rife, being a hot comic isn't all about laughs. Matt Rife is a person that's constantly bombarded with the fact that the only reason anyone gives a shit about him isn't because of what he says, isn't because of who he is, it's because he paid for a new face. Now, what do I think this caused? An extreme, like, mental spiral within himself. For a few reasons. Number one, I think he has the most insane imposter syndrome ever. He probably feels like the most unfunny, like, human on the planet. He probably feels that he doesn't deserve anything that he has. He's probably in the midst of like one of the biggest identity crises of life. He probably feels like an imposter in his body. He probably feels like a fraud. And I would argue that he probably feels even more insecure in his new body because of all of the new attention he's receiving because of his new body. He probably feels like his job now is not a comedian, his job is to be hot. So how does Matt Rife respond to this? He responds to his own insecurities and his feelings of imposter syndrome in his career, which he doesn't feel like he is good enough to be in. He doesn't feel like he's famous because he's a funny comedian. He feels famous because he's hot, which he paid to be. He takes all of those insecurities and blames it on his female fans because he blames his female fans for his success. Since his female fans think he's so hot, he blames them for his imposter syndrome and then tries to alienate all of his female fans because he hates them, because he feels like all of the like internal turmoil that he's dealing with right now is because of women. He blames like this pressure that he feels to maintain this outward appearance of hotness to satisfy the female gaze, which made him famous. He feels like it's unfair, so he alienates women, which is weirdly poetic because it's almost like what so many women feel on a daily basis. They feel so much pressure to like maintain an appearance for the male gaze. We have this male comedian that's now in this place where women essentially made him famous, not because he's funny, but because he's hot. But all this guy's ever wanted to be is funny and be taken seriously by other men. So now he's angry. He's angry because he feels invalidated. He wants to be taken seriously by men. So he makes a domestic violence joke and shits on women in a stand-up special for an hour and loses his main audience